it's bad out here. I mean, it's worse than it's ever been. And I really feel like dating has gotten much worse over the past 5 years, really since COVID. And it's just because of all the validation. There's more influencers these days. The dating apps are more competitive and everything is rigged. All these businesses, like Bumble, Hinge, Tinder, they make their profit off of you and investing into their platform. And I think after COVID, this completely just flipped the script even more so. And it's gotten way worse. Everything is rigged. Everything is rigged today. Dating is rigged. And a lot of the baby boomer generation, I don't feel like they really fully understand because they never experienced what we've gone through, Back in the day, they would meet people from their circle, just from the places that they would go, and there wasn't social media, right? So maybe your family doesn't understand why you're still single in your, 20s, 30s, haven't met someone yet, don't have a girlfriend, no wife, no kids, no family, and you're feeling like you're falling behind. And I get that, man. It's definitely relatable because I'm 34 now and I haven't met the right person yet. I spent a lot of my late 20s and just my early 30s just focusing on building my life up. I was in the military. After the military, I went to college. I was a certified personal trainer for a while. I've coached a ton of men. I've coached women in the past. And I've built up my physique. I've been leveling up in my career. So I've really poured a lot into my own personal growth because I was always thinking the more money I make, the more ripped I am, the more resources I have, that once I get to a certain point, once I get to this level, once I get to that level, that then I would meet my person, right? But it doesn't really work like that. Because every time you reach a new level, you're now competing with people that are in that level. Like, for example, if you're, let's say you're trying to date a woman and you're in a certain bracket, right? You're in a certain bracket. Let's say you have a corporate job, pretty good looking dude, make pretty good money. Well, you're now in a bracket with other guys that are within your range, and women are going for that top, let's say 20%. And the rest of the guys, the 80% are getting overlooked. So you've heard the 80-20 rule, right? Where 80% of the women are only going after 20% of the guys. Well, this isn't in a broad sense. This is in like a bracket sense. People that she would group you with. So every time you level up, every time you reach a new level, you're now in competition with the rest of the guys in that new bracket. Does that make sense? But there is a light to this, okay? And that's what I want to help you with today. We're just going to kind of talk about why, so many guys are walking away from dating in 2025. Well, it feels like it's hopeless, man. It feels like you're spinning your wheels. You try to lead, you try to provide, you try to, be a good guy. But it's confusing, right? Because you got the red pill community, you got other people saying that you shouldn't be vulnerable, you shouldn't be open, and then it keeps you hardened and closed off. But then you have the extra soft, beta guys. I don't like to use these words alpha and beta, but it's real, right? If you can just kind of imagine how I'm trying to categorize this here. But it's confusing, right? Because it's like, how do you even act then? And there's all these freaking mind games going on, and you got dating coaches trying to say do this and all these tactics and everything. So it's very, very confusing. And it's like, well, I might as well not even try at this point. I can just invest in my relationships with my friends and build my life and my body, and I'm perfectly happy. And that's fine. Some of you guys out there, you guys are fine. Some of you guys are happy. Some of you guys are coping. You say you're fine, but you actually, deep down inside, you actually want someone, but you're just afraid to be vulnerable. You're maybe afraid to let someone in. And I get you. I see you. I know that's been me in the past. And even this year, I started dating again this year. Maybe towards the end of the first quarter. Let's say like around March or so. I just started even opening myself up to it because I took a hiatus for a while. I took a hiatus for about a year and a half before I was even dating at all. And before that, I was red pilled. I would have a rotation and I was completely detached. I say detached completely because I was afraid to open myself up yet again and get hurt yet again, right? So it was a safer place for me to just be more detached and to just stay emotionally cold, right? But it's all about the balance, right? It's all about the balance. The dating apps are rigged. In the past, I have paid for them, like Hinge or Bumble. I've paid for them. I wouldn't even mess with Tinder, guys. But I will have to make a video on how you can optimize your dating profile or your Instagram and things like this, because at the end of the day, you're competing with a bunch of other guys. That's really all there is to it, okay? And so I'm all about always maximizing the cards that you are dealt with in life. Maybe you're not the best looking guy genetically. Maybe you're not the tallest. Maybe you're not whatever. It doesn't matter. But, I've seen plenty of guys that are short kings, okay? And they built businesses, they have resources, make money, and they're confident, right? Because it's an intrinsic thing. So the dating apps, I wouldn't even mess with the dating apps at all if you have a lot of work to do, okay? Because then they can be used as leverage if you use it the right way, all right? But you also can't get sucked into it too. Cap off your time. If you're using a dating app, 20 minutes max a day, okay? Because it's just a waste of time otherwise, all right? Now, in terms of your Instagram profile, right? Optimize it. It's basically a business card these days, okay? It's sort of like social proof, but it's not the end all be all. I'm just telling you guys, this is where we're at in 2025, okay? Maximize the cards that you are dealt with in life. Learn to groom yourself well, to dress well, learn to speak well, learn to regulate and control your energy, because women are very intuitive. And so if you really, really want someone, if you really, really want to impress a woman, like, that's coming from the wrong frame. Women can feel and sense your energy. And women want to feel safe. They want to feel like you have everything under control and you're assured of yourself, not asking questions, but leading with direction. Okay. But I also understand too, like, the pressure to be perfect is paralyzing, right? Like, that's where we're at. Instagram and social media and the dating app and everything that's just shoved in your face. Okay. It's showing you what the standards are for what you should be attracted to, how much money you should make, what car you should drive, what watch you have, what clothes you should be wearing, all, your lifestyle. You're seeing a highlight reel shoved in your face. So my advice would be unfollow anything that does not make you feel better, anything that does not support your growth as a person. Get rid of it, okay? Because you need to have a clear field of view. Continue just focusing on the things that you can control, right? You can focus on finding a hobby or passion, building a side project, working on your career, your business, making more money, working on your physique, going and doing things that you enjoy, like picking up hobbies. I recently started hiking more, mountain biking. I actually took a solo trip to Washington a couple months ago, had a great time, even though I wrecked on my first day. I watched Instagram reels of mountain biking pros with their, GoPro for a couple weeks before I went. And I was like, oh yeah, that's easy. I can do that. And I went out there, I freaking wrecked on my first day because I didn't have all the proper gear and everything, but lesson learned, man. But just live your life, man. Like, go out and live life, because life is so short. And, spend your time doing the things that you enjoy and with the people that you enjoy and just live your life, man. It doesn't even matter. I'm not sitting here trying to preach to you about whether you should date or you shouldn't, or if you're happy alone. It doesn't matter. I want to try to help you the best that I can to just live the most fulfilling life possible. And that means finding your purpose and working at that, because you have your purpose, you have your mission, something that you're passionate about. And if you need help trying to figure out what your purpose is, or you have some addictions and vices that you need to get rid of, I actually created a free training. Check it out. Or you can just book a call with me. Let me know, man. But all you can do is focus on the controllables. Anything that you can control. At a young age, I knew, yeah, I'm like a pretty average dude. So I had to work for years on myself to try to improve myself as much as possible. Because there's guys that are better looking, that make more money, that are taller, all the above, man. There's always going to be someone that's got more. But you have to just go crush a lot of things in life. So I went in the Marine Corps for 4 years. I got certified as a personal trainer, as a coach, online business, started my own business, got a good career in sales. I did fitness modeling. I'm always trying new things, pushing myself, setting goals. And that's really what builds the internal confidence of a man. And so, yeah, man, just live your life and don't get sucked into the fucking rat race with the dating apps and the dating, man. Because I've done both. I've been on both sides of the fence where I didn't give a shit, completely emotionally detached, disconnected, and cold. And it seemed like the women that I was hanging around, they could feel that energy. And it worked, actually. I'm not trying to be toxic here, but the reason that works, or that sort of that bad boy energy works, is because you're outcome independent. You're detached from the outcome. So if you're dating, if you're out here, just live your life and just be outcome independent. Don't get sucked into any games. Don't get sucked into like over validating. Live for yourself. And, you've got to have standards too. You've got to have boundaries and standards, because if you don't, you fold for anything. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And you've got to have boundaries. You got to have, boundaries that are structured around your values and what, and how you want to be treated, right? And you have to hold to that. You have to hold the line on that, right? Because if you don't, that's demonstrating that you don't have respect for yourself. And if you don't respect yourself, then how the fuck can you expect anyone else to really expect you, right? Don't think that you have to be perfect, because no one's perfect. Like I said, you're seeing all these highlight reels out here. Show up as your best self, right? Your authentic self. There's some tweaking that needs to be done. And I always say that I think there's some good in the red pill community, take the meat and leave the bones, but ultimately just live a life of purpose. Don't let yourself get walked on. Have some self-respect. Only fuck with people who really fuck with you, man. Honestly. Like I said, being 34 now, life is really too short to waste time on people who aren't showing you that they care. People that aren't showing up for you. People that aren't meeting you halfway. I mean, it takes two to tango, right? Reciprocity. Reciprocity in every fucking relationship in your life, man. Another thing I want to talk about is how I know the biggest thing that guys struggle with is rejection. That's why a lot of guys don't cold approach women out in public. Well, number one, because you guys are overthinking it. But number two, okay, you take it as personal, especially when it comes to dating apps and all this other bullshit. But a lot of you guys take rejection as personal most of the time when you shouldn't. Because let's say you're talking to a girl and she just ghosts you or whatever, right? A lot of the times, most of the time these days, because dating is so broken in 2025, there's so many unhealed, broken people out here in general. And this is for guys and for girls, okay? Everyone's jacked up these days, man. People ghost. They stop talking to you, displaying high levels of interest and then falling off. A lot of the times it's them having not overcome their own insecurities. So maybe you remind them of an ex. Maybe they just have some deep-rooted trauma and insecurities they haven't addressed yet. I've actually dated, there's been a couple experiences that I had this year where I felt the situations didn't work out, but I felt that they didn't feel worthy to be with me. I felt like they felt insecure, and so it didn't work out. And so that's also an issue too, right? But the other case is most of these girls have a rotation. A lot of them are talking to multiple guys anyway. They're at least talking to a handful of guys, especially a lot of the younger women out here. They are, man. It's just the reality. Like, that's just what. So when they get the attention that they need, if they stop or they ghost, it's either their own insecurities or, there's another dude in the picture, man. That's the cold truth, is that, there's another guy. There's always another guy, and you're just like the backup guy, right? But I think the biggest thing that's helped me overcome rejection is just building my own life up and knowing what I stand for and my self-worth, and knowing that, hey, if I'm showing up as my best self, if this person cannot see the value in that, then that's okay. I'm willing to let it go, right? It's being outcome independent, saying whether this works out, whether it doesn't, whether it's the job or the relationship, I'm good either way. It's being outcome independent. It's just being more detached from the outcome. And I think when you can do that, it puts you in a place more of peace, right? Understanding that what's meant for you will be and what's not won't be, right? I know there's a lot of guys out here that feel like dating is like a job interview. You get performance anxiety, and when you're in the bedroom or even on the date, and then hookup culture has really fucked things up too, because there's all these sort of underlying expectations that we should do this by this time, and then someone's keeping score and all this bullshit, man. But it's just really warped everything. So my advice is keep focusing on yourself, living your life, be outcome independent, care less. But just alone being a good guy, just being a good man is not enough. You have to control your energy. You have to control your presence, the way you speak, the way you lead. Lead yourself, and that way other people will see that you can lead them. And go after and get what you want and have an abundance mindset. And if you're dating, don't take these women out here too seriously, man. Just really don't. I do believe that there's some good ones out here, okay? But it's very few and far between. Just like I think it's the same with guys. There's very few and far between solid dudes that, are on the right track. They have their shit together, so to speak, right? It's slim pickings on both sides. But if you're dating, I would talk to, don't get too emotionally invested, especially early on. It's a waste of time, and be open to receiving when someone shows up, when someone comes correct and demonstrates to you through action that they are a person of their word, right? That their actions align with their words over time. And people show their true colors within that. I mean, now it's usually easily within a month, but especially those first 90 days, man, somebody's going to show you who they are. And people show you who they are. Don't have rose-colored glasses. Don't live in denial of what you hope or think that they should be, right? Because you're projecting what they should be, or you're projecting the potential that they have. Don't do that, man. We meet people energetically on the same level. We meet people where they are. A lot of times we feel like we've actually really done a lot of work on ourselves, but then we start attracting people and we're like, well, I feel like I've actually done a lot of work on myself, but why am I attracting this person? And then it kind of makes you want to look in the mirror and do a self-assessment of maybe some deeper things that we need to address. Focus on chasing the bag, man. Chase the bag. Yes, of course I'm going to say that. Chase helping people, though. That's the most important thing here. All right, I'm not making this like any other video. Oh, just chase money. But no. Build your body, build your mind, build your confidence by crushing goals, and help people, man. There's nothing more fulfilling. If you can find something that is an avenue where you can help people and serve people, I mean, it can be anything. Even if you don't know, you can start small by just being more observant to your surroundings and opportunities where you can serve and help someone, to give. It will shift your reality. When you walk through life with that perspective of just being open-minded and being observant of where you can serve and help someone, you'll start to see opportunities pop up. we get so caught up in our world, man. But take the focus off you. Focus on your life, yeah, but just find a ways to help people. And that's why I wanted to start coaching and why I wanted to start YouTube, is because I can help you guys here, right? This is something that I really enjoy. There's some guys that are going to talk shit, but I get to help a lot of guys and it makes me feel really good, very purposeful. And man, go travel to another country, bro. I think we're going to hit the end of the year here soon, which is crazy. And next year, I've got a few places I want to go hit. I think Mexico, for sure. I want to go to Mexico, maybe Colombia. I'm going to go with a local though, a guy that's from Colombia. And I want to go to Spain. Okay. Maybe like Madrid, Barcelona. Maybe that's it. I don't know. That might just be the only ones I have on the agenda for this year. If you guys have any recommendations, drop them down. I know I got a boy over in Italy. I'll have to make my way out there sometime, but a lot of the women over here, man, like they're entitled, they're brainwashed, and they just feel like they have so many options and they're just brainwashed, dude. Very, very entitled. US and Canada, women, pretty similar. Very entitled, man. Very, very entitled. And they just can't really, most of them just can't really appreciate a good man. And so that's why a lot of guys are going overseas. So, dude, like go overseas. I'm going to start next year. I'm going to start doing some traveling overseas and scoping the land just to have a fun, experience life, right? We're outcome independent, but we're just casting a wider net, Maybe start just going and putting yourself out there more and going to some meetups or some fitness classes or just something, man. Just go live your life. And like I said, just fucking live your life, dude. Talk to girls. Hook up with them if you want. I mean, it's not a big deal. Depends on what you're looking for. I didn't have sex I was celibate for about a year and a half. There was a few periods of time over the past 8 years that I was celibate for at least a year. And I did this to just protect my energy. So just remember, it's not about the notch count. Obviously, if you're a guy, be safe, be smart about it, and protect yourself because, look, you don't want to have a kid with the wrong woman. Like, seriously, bro, fuck that shit. All right? Be safe, protect yourself, and live your life and hook up if you want, have fun, have a good time. I wouldn't fully invest, right? You get a feel for someone after a while. If you can see that they're showing up and they're willing to invest and put in effort. I'm not saying to be closed off. Have a balance, man, but just be observant. And don't get one-itis, bro. It's always a fatal killer, man. Every single time. You just date and focus on one chick. I don't care what society says, man. This isn't about being a player. It's just about being smart, honestly, like straight up. And it's just an energy too that you give off every single time. Even if I was ripped, even if I had my shit together, so to speak, women can still feel it, bro. The more you act like you care, the less a lot of these girls are going to care. It's just how it is, right? So have a good time, have fun, live your life, focus on your purpose, focus on your boys, friends, building value. And life is fucking electric, bro. Fuck all the doomers shit out here. Fuck the doomers, bro. Go travel, go live your life. If you don't have the money to travel, well then motherfucker, you should be busting your butt every day to make more, to provide for the life that you want, man. And enjoy now, the moment, right now. Focus on the controllables. Be outcome independent. I'm good either way. So that's all I got for today, man. Found the video helpful. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, dropping videos every single week. And check out my free training. Link is in the description. If you want to book a call with me, potentially work with me, link in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one.